So a lot of people think that films go over budget because of, expensive actors or maybe bad weather or the director is just overspending. Mm, that's pretty much not the case. The real problem why a lot of these movies spend so much money going over budget, the problem starts in pre-production. And what is pre-production? Pre-production is the planning of a shoot. So you have the pre-production, you have production when you're actually filming, and you have post-production, which is the editing and bringing out the final deliverables of the movie. The major problem why your project or whatever you're doing, you tend to spend more money is because of poor planning. Now you might be thinking to yourself, who is this guy telling me about film production? Aren't you the guy that makes reaction content? Well, yes, my regular job, I actually work as a filmmaker. I am a line producer. And what a line producer does is they create and manage the budgets and also the schedule of a film. And we make sure that the day-to-day activities, everything goes smoothly and, just solving problems on set. Pretty much. I just got off a production set in Western Africa, which is going to be the biggest project ever made in Western Africa and one of the biggest productions in Africa. This is a project that had to do with the sequel to one of Netflix's biggest hits, The Black Book. Very crazy ass movie. You guys should check it out if you haven't. And the part 2 of this is coming to theaters all around the world. And now, without further being said, let's dive straight into the video. So if you're a young aspiring filmmaker and you think, oh my God, I want to work in film, or you're making short films and you're always finding out that you don't manage your costs, I think this video is good for you. Or you just want to know more about production and how finances work and how people spend money or whatever, maybe this video is for you. And yeah, I'm actually going to be switching up my content to be making a lot more of production content. Without further ado, guys, let's just go straight to the reason why a lot of productions are overspending money past their actual budget. The first costs. Now, I'm not talking about big studio projects. I'm not talking about the big studios like the Disney, the Warner Brothers. Those ones, they have the money to blow. They're gonna go over budget. It doesn't matter. They're probably gonna go reshoot and change shit. Those ones, just put them aside. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the regular people that have regular money and are trying to raise money for their films, the people that actually care about going over budget. That's the people we're talking about here. So the first major reason I've seen why a lot of projects, film projects or TV projects, will go over budget is that there's no proper script breakdown. Now, what is a script breakdown? A script breakdown is when you bring a shooting script, and your script, scene by scene, you break it down. Okay, here's the location. It's going to be filmed here. Here are the props on this set. Okay, here's what the costumes of the characters. Here are the actors in this scene. These are the types of background extras in this scene. Every single detail is broken down, and you have to do it scene by scene throughout the entire script. You need to do this so that you can make sure that there's no hidden costs, because that's a problem. People will go into production, they've not done a proper breakdown of their script, or the departments have not done a proper breakdown of their script, and then they go into production, and when they're trying to execute stuff that is in the script, they realize that they haven't planned for this and this, and now they have to do it on the fly and get stuff to be able to do it, which will now make them go over budget. But when everything is planned for, there are no surprises. But the thing about filmmaking is no matter how hard you plan, there's always going to be something. That's the beauty of filmmaking. It's all about solving problems. There's always going to be problems coming up on set. You just have to keep solving, keep solving, keep solving. That's the beauty of it. Under this same script breakdown, another component of this is when your departments do not plan well. If you're new to filmmaking, there are different departments in film. For example, you have the production design departments, the ones in charge of props, set dressing, construction, those visual elements that you see on screen, right? And then you have your costume department, the ones in charge of costume wardrobe. That sounds pretty explanatory. You have your sound department, you have your electric department or light department, depending on where in the world. They call it light or electric based on where you are in the world. You have your grip department, you have your camera department, you have your special effects, you have your makeup departments, you have your location. So yeah, every department have to do their own breakdown so they know everything that concerns them. Now imagine this, on a script we have about 20 locations. right? Or we go to that location. The locations are during pre-production, during the planning process. That's when you scout the locations. You go on Recce, you scout the locations. You find the location that you think that will work for the director's vision. Maybe there was no proper planning. There was not enough recce done in that location. They get a location, they go on set, and then during the day of the shoot, and you realize that the location doesn't work. Now that's a problem. Now the location manager is going helter skelter looking for other locations. You have to make sure that those locations have been approved by the director, right? Okay, so let's say something about a special effect. For example, somebody was shot in a scene, and maybe you're supposed to use what you call squibs. So squibs are things that like they explode and like the different types. There's the air squibs. They give you the blood effect, right? Maybe somebody was stabbed, something like that, and then the special effects person didn't plan for it, and then you go on set and then you're not able to do it, and it causes downtime. Just different things like that when the department are not planning. Those things affect the entire production. Think of filmmaking as different departments as a ball. Every department is inside that ball, and every department has to be fine for the ball to keep rolling. The ball is rolling to the finish line. Once a department is faulty, it affects the ball from turning. That stops it. So everybody has to be in sync and rolling at the same time. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? And the second reason now is unrealistic schedule. Oh, this happens a lot. You have a script of, maybe you want to shoot a short film. Your script is, let's say, 10 pages or 15 pages. And then you put like, oh, I don't have enough money or something, and I want to shoot this in one day. One day, 15 pages? Come on. Oh, I'm sure there are people that can pull this off, but in a general perspective, an easy perspective, think of this as this. 1 page in a script is 1 minute. It doesn't always work that way. Let's just go by that now. So imagine 15 pages you're going to film. 15 pages is a lot. I think people would generally, on a production, based on how much action you have, people will literally shoot 2 to 5 pages in a day based on how much action, how much stunts, how much, you have to do in that script. So the line producer is the person that does the original schedule, and then the assistant director comes and does a further breakdown and does a more detailed schedule. So imagine your schedule, you have a day, you have 15 pages you have to shoot. Realistically, you're not making that day. What happens? You don't make that day, and then it spills over to another day. That's an extra shoot day. What does that mean? An extra day is more money. You gotta pay people more. You gotta pay your team additional money, or you go overtime. Now you have to pay overtime. Or, right? I said you spill over. Now you have to pay more. You're paying not just your crew, your equipment, your camera gear, your lights, your electric, all that stuff. Location. Now you have to get the location for another day. It's gonna cost you money, and all that shit could have been avoided if you had planned it right. And just know that this day we can realistically shoot this scene. We need 3 days to shoot this, right? That would have saved you. At least you would have planned, and you have the money that you need to go into production to make that project. Overtime kills budget. Now, I personally went to film school in the US. I worked in the US in Los Angeles for a while. Before I started making movies all around the world, I've been opportune to make movies all around the world. A lot of developing countries, they don't really work with overtime, so it doesn't affect them. But if you're in a country that has actual labor laws where you have overtime, it will kill you because your schedule is unrealistic, like I just mentioned before. So it should take you a 12-hour day. A film set is a 12-hour day. So it depends on where you are in the world or what state you are. If you're in the United States, for example, in Los Angeles, in California, after 8 hours, you start to pay 1.5 per hour up until the 12th hour. After 12 hours is overtime. You have to be paying ×2 per hour. So now you were trying to film something, you dumped a lot of scenes in one day, and now the 12 hours is over, and you still have like one scene left, and now you have to film 16 hours. That's gonna cost you every hour ×2. People's wages. What's gonna happen to your budget? Skyrocket. That's what's going to happen. Reason 3, post-production is underestimated. A lot of people take post-production for granted. Post-production is after you're done with production, right? and then you go to start editing, video editing. You're trying to color correct. You're trying to compose your music. You're trying to do a sound design. You're trying to do your VFX. You're trying to do your, get everything done, get your final cut, and then get the deliverables that you need for your distribution. All that is post-production. A lot of people they take their post-production for granted. They're just worried about, production, what I need on set. What happens when you hit post-production? Because post-production costs money, People will take it for granted. I don't need post-production. On an indie scale now, on a small production, I've seen people shoot a movie with, let's say they shoot a movie of 200,000 USD, a very small budget movie, right? This is excluding post now. And in their post-production, they have like 15K, 10K. Like really? Oh yeah, I mean, you can get it done. There are people that are gonna get it for you, but that's very under budgeted. That's gonna leave you in trouble. Production is not the end of the world. Like the actual film production, the actual principal photography is not the end of the world. There's life after that. And once you mess up your post, that's the end, bro. You can literally change your story through editing. A lot can happen in the editing suites, right? Color correction adds so much to it. Sound design and music composition adds so much to your project. And if you don't invest in it, you're not going to get the best. You're not going to get what you deserve. Another thing I've seen is people are shooting and they have no idea how to handle something during the production or during planning. And they're like, oh, we'll handle it in post. Oh, we'll handle it in post. You're cooked. If you think you're going to be handling things and just be like, oh, when we get to post, we'll figure it out. You're probably not going to figure it out, or you're going to spend a shit ton of money trying to figure it out. Me personally, I'm a person that likes to do practical effects. I like to, for example, if we're filming and there's explosions or whatever, as best as I can, I'd love to have that explosion be practical. That's on set, an actual explosion versus using your VFX. I mean, if you have a shit ton of money to blow on VFX, sure. I mean, practical is still expensive, but I feel like it's still cheaper than visual effects. Still cheaper, especially on a lot of things. But yeah, so you get my point, guys. You have to make sure that you plan for post. Now, another reason why production, this is a major one, why productions will go over budget is that they have no contingency, or they have very limited contingency. What is contingency? Contingency is the amount of money that you keep aside in your production budget for emergency purposes. You have $1 million production budget. Personally, I like to keep if I have I keep my contingency between 5 to 10%. If I have my way, I'll leave it at 10%. But obviously, sometimes the budget gets so tight. So 5 to 10%. Some people would even keep it at 10 to 15%. If you have the money, why not? You know what I mean? So imagine your production budget is $1 million, and then you keep $1 million. You should be keeping like 100K or slightly under as your contingency, and then you keep like 20K. For a production budget of $1 million, there's going to be unforeseen circumstances, and then you're going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck. And a lot of indie filmmakers, they ignore contingency. Bro, please do not do this. Contingency will literally save your freaking life. Trust me. In summary, in all this, the success of your film has to do with planning. That's what makes your film successful. It's planning, the pre-production. I'm not saying that things are not going to happen. Things will happen. But you would have been aware of where majority of things that will stress you can come from, and you can have a plan or a backup plan for them. Planning is key. Without planning, adequate planning, you're cooked. Don't just go into a production doing 2 weeks, 1 week of planning. You're going to get stuck, and your investors are going to hate you. I'm trying to save you from your investors investing in you and then not wanting to invest in you ever again. That's like the most terrible thing. The goal is you want to get your investors to invest. Obviously, filmmaking is a business. You want to make your money back. At least get your investors a break even. Let them know at least maybe they can gamble with you next time. But, obviously we want to do more than break even so your investors can actually invest in you next time. That's pretty much it, guys, on how to not go over budget and how to maximize your film success when you're starting off a production. If you want more film videos like this, just let me know in the comments. I'm going to be dropping a lot of this. I want to be talking about the business side of filmmaking. I just want to be having rants about what's going on in the industry, movies to expect, reacting to trailers, all that shit, and also teaching you guys all about production. You know what I mean? I'm super excited to do that. And let me know what you think. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.